This is Amy Chan from CakeDecoratingSchool.com, and if you like cake decorating, you're in the right place. Thanks for checking out one of our past live sessions. If you had fun and enjoyed it, we'll hope you tune in for one of our future lives. And remember, if you're one of our paid members, you can watch these and all the rest of them anytime on your platform. Hey everyone, thanks for joining us today. We're going to start off this month of October and we're going to do some fun little spooky treats. I started with some Nightmare Before Christmas, which we might continue next week just because they've got lots of fun characters. So I've got a little Jack Skellington cupcake and his little buddy Zero, just because they use a lot of the same colors. So I thought they would be fun to do together today. And we're going to use a variety of tips, and I'm just going to show them off because there's not too much technique-wise that we haven't covered in past lives. So I'm using a large 808 with white in the bag, so it's a long bag as well, and we're going to be using that to pipe on the surface of the cupcakes. I've got a bag with some black ready, and I have a coupler on this one just because I'm going to change the sizes. So I'm using both a number 5 for some of the big areas like the eyes, and a number 2 for some of the smaller details like the little nose holes, that's a really weird one, and the mouth, etc. And then I have a number 7 with some red just to give Zero a collar because he has a cute little collar. And then I've used a few other elements. I've got some white gum paste that I'm going to use to make his cute little ears. And one of my favorites, Halloween time, are the mini M&Ms. So you can sometimes get the seasonally colored ones, or I just pick out the ones that I need from the bag. So in this case, orange for his nose, because he actually has a tiny little jack-o'-lantern on the end of his nose. So I'm going to set my little samples up here at the top so that you all can see what I'm going for. And try not to stick my finger in them. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start working on Jack first, and then we'll work on Zero. So I've got my plain cupcake, and I want to get a nice round dot piped on there. So if you touch the surface with your tip, lift up a good 1/2 inch or more, 3/4, and then just start squeezing. You'll get a nice round blob. Stop and swirl it gently to the side, right? And you can see I had a little bit of an air bubble, so it gave me a little irregular shape. I actually don't mind this for Jack because a lot of times his face is kind of irregular. I'm gonna go ahead and switch my tip on my black to my smaller one because I was working with the larger one last. And I'm gonna go ahead and do the nose first, just because that gives me a starting point to work outwards from, and then do the eyes and the mouth, right? So sometimes if you pick the thing that's gonna be the center, right? So the nose, that makes it easier then to place your eyes and your mouth. If you start with the eyes, you might end up too low down, too far to the left, too far to the right, etc. If you start with the mouth and you end up too high, you might not have room for your eyeballs. So I'm just gonna do 2 tiny teardrop shapes. And the thing I like about these characters is that they're all kind of irregular. So you don't need things to be perfect, right? Circles don't need to be perfect, lines don't need to be perfect. So they're good practice because they can be a little irregular, and it kind of helps you catch the spirit of what we're doing. So I'm just gonna go ahead. Oh, you can see my line split there. I had a little air bubble in the bag. It's not something to freak out about. Just moved it around gently with the tip. Start back up and keep going. Right, and he usually has a nice big smile. And then the little stitch marks you're gonna make them at irregular angles, right? Some close together, leave a little space, right? I can do one right over where I had that little pop. It covers up the little blemish in the line. Keep going till you get all the way to the end, right? So we're setting up good. And you'll see he usually has kind of the eyes that look like his brow is furrowed. So we're gonna make this one over here, I don't even know what to call that shape. And then this one has almost like a nice curved, almost eyebrow on top of it. I should have thought of better terms to describe his facial expression, maybe it's devious, right? So start there. With the top lines of his eyes, and I'm going to switch to my other bag that has the slightly larger tip on it, and I'll use that to draw the rest of it. Right? So I've got the shape down, I'm liking the way that's going. Liking the way that's going, and I'm just going to use the black to fill it in. Right, so just kind of essentially go around the ring and circle your way in, right? So there we go, we have a cute little Jack Skellington cupcake face, adorbs, and then we'll work on 0. So for 0, I'm going to try get a nice big balloon of frosting and then draw it over to a peak, right? So start over here, let that frosting balloon out, and then relax your pressure as you draw it over and draw him out to a nice little peak. His little eyes are always kind of, you'll see like one on the back side's a little skinnier and the other one is a little more rounded oval, just so you get that perspective of you're only seeing part of the eye on the other side of the face. And then we've used almost a little curved triangle there, kind of slice shape, to get his little mouth, and that gives us a little open mouth look. So I'm gonna go ahead and just start over here and draw just a nice fat line, and then mirror that with an oval, right? And then if we pull our black almost from the point of his nose, sorry, the black is misbehaving today, has a tendency to do that, right? Give it a nice curve, then we can draw down and make the shape from his mouth so that when you look at it from the side, he looks like he's got a cute little open mouth smile going on. He's adorable, happy, panting. I'll use one of my adorable little orange M&Ms right there. And I can finish off, out of frame, down here with a nice line of red for his little collar, right? And I pre-made some little strips out of gum paste for his ears because he has these cute little expressive ears, and these ended up being a little long, so I'm just going to break the end off, and you can stick those right in the buttercream. And I'll show you how to do that next, just in case anyone's wondering, but that gives him those cute little ears, right? So for anyone who wants to make these and you want to make some adorable little zeros and you need some ears, I just set up a tray with a few twists of paper towel on it, right? Sorry, knocked the phone. And I take a little white gum paste, right? You could probably even use fondant if you let it dry out long enough, but make these ahead of time, roll it out nice and thin. And then I just took my X-Acto knife and cut out some thin strips. And I went for pointed on the end and a little fatter in the middle, so he has this kind of little ghost ripply ears, and then you can curve them over those little twists of paper towel so that when they dry, they have those nice waves, right? So you get the right shape. And then they have a little dimension and a little dynamic. You can let them set for a few days and then they'll be fine to stick in your cupcakes and they'll be nice and firm and easy to work with, right? And since we have some white in the bag, I figured I might do just a little regular ghost anyways. So if you're not feeling the Nightmare Before Christmas characters, never be afraid to experiment. And when I have colors in a bag, I always try to do something cute with them, right? So I piped a nice little ghosty shape, and then we can give it an adorable little ghost face. Maybe even some little hands, right? So get creative, have some fun. I always find Halloween to be an inspiring holiday. It's a chance to use some fun colors and do some different stuff. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like more about the cake decorating materials and equipment we use, or just some inspirational videos about cake decorating itself, you can follow us on Insta or YouTube at Cake Decorating School. If you'd like to know more about yearly membership and what it entails, you can go to www.cakedecoratingschool.com for more information. And if you're interested in these products, you can check the links in the description.